and I was still pretty unclear of what had happened. Um, and just got home, and I just like laid in my bed for like 2 days straight, and like didn't move, because I thought I had killed someone.
Yeah, you still don't have any like answers at all.
No, I didn't get any answers for about 5 days. And like during those 5 days, like a lot of shit happened. Like, all of my friends are texting me, they're like, "Where'd you go that night? Like, what happened?" Like the very next day, like it was my like best friend Cam, my roommate's birthday.
Oh, really?
And I didn't show up, and he's like, "What the fuck, dude? Where are you?" And I just like didn't reply it. And I didn't tell anyone, and I was like kind of thinking, I was like, well, fuck, if I really did kill someone, like I can't go to jail. Like I won't be able to survive that. Like I need to, get out of here or something.
Like, yeah, like leave
or something. It's like I can't flee the country, and so like I had a lot of bad thoughts, a lot of dark thoughts, and like I never like mentioned this to my parents or anything like that. And taking my life was one of them. Like I didn't want to, like, but I knew I couldn't like fully, like last that long in a prison. And so it was like 5 days later, and like I finally was able to leave my room or whatever. And I was gonna go for a walk around the block with my dad, and I just remember he was out front in the yard, like getting our dog leashed up and everything like that. And he was like, "Just wait inside," and like push me back inside. And there's this lady walking up the street in a neck brace. And he was telling me that, he was like, "That's the lady." Like, I was like, "Okay." And I was like, "She's fine then. Like, she's not dead." And he's like, "No." And she's walking up the street, and I was just like, so relieved. Obviously, relieved that I hadn't killed someone, but still like kind of fucked up that all this had happened. And so from there, I remember the next day, the cop who was dealing with me that night, he was in the hospital and at the jail and everything like that. I can't remember his name. Super nice dude, actually. I remember I talked to him for a little bit after the fact, like a year later or whatever. He had my phone and some other stuff, and he was dropping it off, and he also had a list of charges or something like that. And he was talking to my dad, and my dad didn't let me answer the door. He's like, "Just wait around the corner." So I was waiting around the corner listening to him. He's like, "Yeah," he's like, "We're charging your son with, dangerous driving with intent to cause bodily harm." It's like, it's a jailable offense. Blah, blah, blah. Like, here's the date for the sentencing hearing. And I was like, fuck. Like, and I was like, what the fuck is a sentencing hearing? And my dad's like, basically, they just like pick how long they're going to throw you in jail for.
You're like, sick.
And so at this point, so that same lawyer I called that night, we called her, went to go talk to her, and she basically ran me through every scenario or whatever. She's like, this is like what have happened to other people. This is, and they all end in jail sentences. Some of them are split between, house arrest and jail. Some of them are reduced to 1 month in jail. Some are 6 months in jail. Like for me though, any time in jail would have just fucking ruined me. Like, fucking look at me, I'm skinny. Like I'm gonna die in there.
Oh man.
And so I thought like the sentencing hearing was basically supposed to be 6 months from my crash, which happened on June 10th, 2017. And it got pushed a full year.
So an extra 6 months or an extra year?
So from the date, it got pushed another 6 months. So a year from the crash.
Yeah.
So it was like the following June, got pushed again. All the way to, and I got getting pushed a couple more times to 2018. I had it December 18th, 2018.
Oh, it's almost a year and a half.
Yeah. A year and a half. And like during that time, I was collecting character references. I was, doing a bunch of community service, trying to do everything I can to show this judge that whoever I was going to get, that it was a one-time mistake. I've never done anything like that in my life. And basically I was just like mentally preparing myself to go to jail. Because even my lawyer was being realistic with me at the time. She was just saying like, like there's only so much I can do. But like for the most part, people in your situation, like even if they don't have any priors, even if they're like, led a decent life and stuff like that, they generally, this is a jailable offense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so during that time, like I remember like this is when I kind of started actually dealing with some issues in my life. Like I was going to therapy like almost like every week.
Mm.
Um, and talking to my therapist about it, talking to like my friends and family about it. And I was very open about the whole thing. I remember the next day, actually after the crash, or no, 5 days after the crash, like I had to tell my boss or whatever. Like immediately, I talked to him. He picked me up and we chatted. And he's like, there's a few things you can do. You can let this, rule your life and let it affect you and um, you know let
Yeah.
it control you basically. He's like, you can try and find the gift in the situation. And he was told me a story about how one of his cousins died from an overdose, and they're doing the same thing. They're trying to like, where's the gift here?
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying like, the gift is, he's like, now he has the power to like, step into anyone's life and just say like, you know, don't do this, like, stop, like try and help them. And so for me, um, I kind of found two. For one, it was the same thing. Like if my friends are planning on, not that anyone plans to drink and drive, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I've been pretty active about it. I was volunteering with it's called the Odd Squad. It's for like youth that are at risk of drugs and alcohol addiction,
Okay.
run by the Vancouver Police Department. So I was volunteering with them for quite a while and did some stuff. And then also just within my friends, I was just like, I told them the whole story, and like hopefully it just scares the shit out of them that they don't want to ever do that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like I'm fucking prime example, like poster boy for that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, the second one was just like, I don't know, my relationship with my dad during that entire time was pretty shit. Like I don't think I told him I loved him up until after the crash. I remember like saying it when I was super young, but there was probably a good 10 years of my life where I never hugged or told my dad that I loved him.
Mm-hmm.
With my mom, it was a bit different. She was always very like physical,
Mm-hmm.
like the touch and stuff like that. And he was a cop, and he was a bit hard, and he was very hard on me, but I appreciate
Yeah.
everything he did for me. Cause I wouldn't have gotten through that situation without him. He sat with me, like with the lawyers, he sat with me through every meeting. He knew what to do. Like I wouldn't have known what to do if he wasn't there. Like I would have been like gone to jail for sure if he wasn't there.
Yeah.